we learn that his mother died in a traffic collision.
Here's my vibe.
He's like, yeah, no, my mom did die. Anyways, check this out. Himself in the eye. It's like, no, it's ketchup. I'm like, that still seems kind of dangerous, even if there's ketchup there. But you do you.
So you have to go to the hospital with like
Ketchup in the eye. Ketchup in the eye.
ketchup packet and a fork like stuck in your eye.
It was a joke.
It's just a prank.
You can see where I'm coming from, right? Like, you can understand this, right?
And
Thumbs
5,
up for 20.
3.
All right, when are you guys gonna start for once? You fucking lazy shit.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to episode 23 of the No Thumbs Up podcast, where down is up and thumbs are down. On today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at Hot Fuzz from 2007, a film about the greater good.
The greater
good.
Thank you.
Greater good.
So first, let me introduce some beautiful people. Sergeant Dane, Constable Josh, Chief Marcel. Nice, you get to be the chief. Detective Noah, and of course, as always, the one, the only, Spaghetti Joe. I am your Judge Judy and Executioner Joel, and I'll be your plotsman for today. So please sit down, get comfortable, and hit that hot fuzz and like button, or put $1 in the fucking swear jar. Thank you, Danny. If you like what we're doing here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and get more podcasts like this one, and hit the bell button so you don't miss a damn episode. Greetings, everyone. Hot Fuzz is our film for today. I'm pretty sure probably everyone has seen it before, except for Joe, I think.
I sure have not.
What? Damn,
Well,
son.
It's wild.
All the
I
time.
mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe I've seen it, but it's one of those things where I don't remember. So
Yeah, I feel like it's just constantly been on the background, or in the background at Marcel's house, just for
Yeah.
years.
Watch it a lot. If I don't know what to put on, I just put on Hot Fuzz because it's easy, it's simple, and it's funny.
Yeah.
It's a good ha-has.
A bit about this movie to preface. It was released, like I said, in 2007, directed by Edgar Write. He did like Baby Driver and all the rest.
The
of
other,
the
the other
trilogy.
3
Thank
flavors
you,
of
Edgar.
tornadoes.
You Scott Pilgrim too.
Yep. He is my
Really?
favorite director.
Yeah, damn.
And most recently, Last Night in Soho, which we
It's
need to
very
watch.
good.
I should have put that on the wheel. except
Oh, I
for-
haven't seen that yet, actually.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it either. I've been wanting to.
What is it called?
Last Night in Soho.
Just watch it. That's Night in Soho.
Yeah, we should. This movie had a budget of 8 million.
Great British pounds.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
10.8 million UDS. I'm supposed to be.
This
USD.
movie costs 10 quid, yeah?
Whoops.
10 quid.
Oh, yeah.
Box office of 80.7 million. Damn, boy.
They fucking
It's a good
tenfolded
return,
that
wow.
shit. Woo.
It's some dough.
To mention some actors that you might recognize from other things. I mean, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are just
Yeah,
like, I feel like they're
The
just
duo.
like, yeah, always together. So Shaun of the Dead, Paul, Simon Pegg was in Star Trek. That's true.
Yep.
Nick
He's
Frost,
Scotty.
same thing. Plus at World's End. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else, but. Rory McCann from
That
Game
Goat
of
Seeker
Thrones.
show on Amazon.
Oh, is he the guy who just says "yarp"?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, what the hell! I didn't notice that.
The Hound is the Yarp guy.
Oh,
Martin Freeman from The Hobbit and Fargo,
yeah.
and also really early on in this, there is a cameo from somebody that I'll get to. But if you have not seen this show before, this is the No Thumbs Up podcast. Every week we come together to review and recap a movie. And then at the end of the episode, we'll spin this here wheel. We've each put a movie on the wheel, and it will decide what movie we watch next week. So my movie
Yarp.
this week is The House. I saw it on Netflix. It said it was like a satire and it's like a stop motion. So yeah, The Wolf of Wall Street, Leonardo DiCaprio making money on the Wall Street. Over the Hedge, a timeless classic, also a great GameCube game where you could collect hats. Meet the Feebles, I know nothing about.
It's a
Nice.
Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings like director, but like early work. It's really good.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is
Basically, the Muppets on crack.
Quentin Tarantino. And his newest movie, Falling Down. I also saw Netflix
Feet
while I was
guy.
looking for my movie, but I don't know what it's about.
Yeah. Angry guy's car breaks down, so he walks all the way across LA to see his ex-wife and kid. It's just the
Pretty
premise.
wholesome.
So at the end of the podcast, we'll spin that there wheel and see what movie we're reviewing next week. But for this week, we will jump right into Hot Fuzz. Kerplooey. It opens up with a montage of Nicholas Angel, which is the name of the sound director of this movie for some reason. All three of the movies. Shaun of the Dead.
Huh.
I don't know. There's like imagery of him being kind of an angel with like white light and people making references and stuff. So I don't really get the point of that, but hey. Long story short, in this montage, they're showing that he's a great marksman, great driver. He's pretty much just the best at everything, top of his class, beloved by the community.
He's the super cop. Meet the cop that can't be stopped.
Yeah, unfortunately, too good. He gets called in by his bosses. I like this scene every time somebody new comes in. How's the hand? Bit
How's the
stiff. They're making him a sergeant, but out in the country in Sanford, Gloucestershire. And
What an
he's-
ugly language they
We
speak.
can pronounce this.
Yeah.
Gloucestershire. I don't.
It's like Worcestershire.
Isn't it pronounced like
Worcestershire.
Gloucestershire?
Gloucestershire? Yeah. Like you don't pronounce the like
Like
half the
Worcestershire?
fucking letters.
Yeah, just drop them. Silent
Yeah.
consonants. He likes it in London, I guess, because he's just like excelling there, so he doesn't want to go. He's like, well, what does the inspector think about this? And he's like, okay, I'll give him a call, but
do you really want me to get him down here, Inspector?
Then he
Like,
just
opens the door immediately.
appears.
How's the hand?
yeah, it's like dude gets in.
Stiff.
Yeah.
But Steph,
And then they start bringing up his like Janine, the person he was like gonna marry. They're like, oh, how's she? He's like, yeah, no, we're not together anymore. And so yeah, he's talking to the inspector. No, I don't want to do this. Oh, you want to bring it even higher than me, the chief inspector? And then yeah, he comes in, has the hand, and then I like the other guy answers for him. Oh, it's a bit stiff. Yeah, so he's like, well, there's one thing you forgot, and turns around and like opens the door, and he's expecting that like the people won't want him to leave, but they're just all standing completely still, just like
Happy
congratulating-
promotion.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
You're making us look bad.
He goes to visit Janine at her job. She's like, I don't know what you'd call that, like an analysis for like the crime scenes. And everyone looks the exact same because they're all like in the full suits and stuff.
Oh yeah, and he goes and speaks to like the guy. So Janine. He's like, I'm not Janine.
Janine, I've been
Oh.
promoted. I'm moving away. I'm not Janine.
We learned that they're planning to get married, but he was already married to his job. And then I like the part here. it's
Sigma
like-
male grind set.
Switch off, Nicholas.
I like the part where it's like, are you seeing other people? And it's like, oh, well, who is it? Is it Dave? Does Dave look like the person, like a person I'd go out with? No, it's Bob. Dude turns around. It's like they all look the same. And then before he leaves, he says, you do realize the window is broken from the inside, and all of them kind of look, because I don't know, he's just super cop.
Oh.
She mentioned something about his rubber plant, and it's like the plant we see him always holding.
Mhm.
And there's like a really good like just montage of
Japanese peace lily.
So Japanese
Yes.
piece.
yeah. But there's a montage of him moving to what did I say, Landford or something?
Sanford.
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 Which I just want to comment on that. Like any movie I watch and people do moving like montages and stuff, it's always like aerial shots of the city, like all this super cliche shit. That's what I love about Edgar Wright movies. He's like he gets the point across in a way that takes like 10 fucking seconds
Mhm.
with like fast jump cut stuff.
Yeah.
And like it's just done
It's
so
like
much
interesting.
better.
Like it's like
It was the same thing. Like I was saying to a couple of you guys
Yeah.
yesterday about like the type of matching shots that he does in scenes. Like in the, I know we'll get to it later, but in the one where he's like laying in the bed with his like hand gripper thing, and he's just sitting there like that, and then it skips straight to like the bed being made up the next morning to set the next scene. He does the same type of stuff in World's End with like empty beers and stuff. Scott Pilgrim
Oh, yeah.
clothes wrestling. It's like,
yeah, it's so
that's
good.
it like good cinematography, good just like
Show,
getting the
don't tell.
story along. Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's
Yeah.
so good.
One of the things in the montage here is like he's looking at his phone. I don't know if he's trying to call the girl or something. It says a name on the phone. I never caught it.
oh, it shows the change in like cell service like area. Like it shows
Oh,
like
okay.
yeah.
I was
He's in
looking
the
at wrong thing.
boonies.
One of my favorite parts about this montage, well, just in general, like throughout this movie, is every mundane like task is always shown in just such like epic fashion. You know, like even like just moving, it's just like this really fast cut jump scene. Like it's just like it's really quick, and then you get back to like a little bit more of the action scenes. They're a little bit like they're not as fast like cut and everything. They're a little bit longer, and like it's just kind of amusing that like. Yeah, he does it later with just like a regular traffic stop where he goes to like pull someone over. It's like like lights go on and shit,
Yeah.
and then it's just like that's it.
Yeah, all the paperwork that you always
Yeah.
have to do.
Amusing.
When he shows up at the hotel, the lady at the front says something like, "It's like, oh, the doors of heaven have opened up," and his name is Angel. So,
Uh-huh.
and she's
Doing a crossword.
yeah, goes up. Hope you've had a
Calls him
pleasant trip.
fascist.
Fascist.
Fascist? What? 7 down.
And then-
Hag. Oh, what? 3 down. Hag.
Pegg.
Evil old woman considered frightful or ugly. He goes into his apartment, like hangs up his coat, kind of does some stuff, sits down, immediately gets out, goes. It's like just a 5-second shot just to show him go into his place and then immediately leave. Once again, just that quick cutting is really nice. He finds himself at the bar, doesn't drink, so he orders a cranberry juice.
And those fucking cranberry juices.
Notices nothing but children drinking there.
Yeah.
It's like I love how
Literal,
like people in the shot look kind of normal at first, but then he just starts looking around and it's just all kids.
Yeah.
Just like, what the fuck?
And that's like also like that imagery again, like he's looking around, it's like dun, 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 and then there's like this bright flash of white light on his
Yeah.
face. And there's like really good lines here when he's arresting the people. What year is your birthday? Or no, like when's your birthday? February 22nd. What year? Every year. When's your
Every
birthday?
year.
The 8th of May, 1969. You're 37.
37.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When's
When's your birthday?
Okay.
It's like they're like trying to take notes on this movie. Like you'd think because it moves so fast, or like they don't spend a whole lot of time on everything, it'd be like easier to take notes on. But all the dialogue is like so dense, and everything comes back. Like there's no wasted dialogue. Pretty much everything gets referenced back to,
Mhm.
and like, yeah. So I was watching it in like ×2 speed, but I kept pausing it anyways. So it's like I should have just watched it again in regular speed. Yeah, the barkeepers are not very happy once they kick out literally all the clientele except for Nick Frost's character Danny, who's just fucking hammered. And they're just like all
Bring
pissed.
up like the greater good too. They're like we should like let these guys drink or something. You're like, oh they
Oh yeah.
and like
It's they're
for
in
the-
here doing this,
yeah.
then making trouble out there,
Yeah.
basically, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's all for the greater good. It's like,
The
what?
greater
The
good.
greater good.
Greater good.
I like how before, or like when he gets back in there, he's all comfortable, and they're like, "You want another cranberry juice?"
No, I'm good.
I'm watching my line. Yeah, so he like goes out to there's like a little fountain outside, and I'm pretty sure all the names on the plaque for the fountain are all the bad guys. And also
Yeah.
all of their names are stuff like it's like Skinner,
Spoiler.
Shooter, like they're all poignant names kind of. And then turns around, you don't plan on driving that car? No. And then just like almost hits him with it. He arrests him,
No.
doesn't know where the station is, so he has to tell him.
That's such a good line. He's like, "I'm gonna take you to the station. Where is it?"
Yeah.
This is
Just-
station.
And then
Got
along
there
the
and started
way,
arresting.
yeah, it just sees the kid's just like pissing, turns around, pisses on his shoes, picks up a couple more along the way, and he gets in. They're like, "Oh, it's like today your first day." He's like, "No, it's tomorrow." Puts everybody away, and the dude's like, "Oh, you want me to process this? I don't want to do the paperwork." And this is the first time we see that Marcel.
Taking off fat heat.
Fuck.
Oh, good.
Sorry, boys.
Welcome to the No Thumbs Up podcast.
Yeah, so
Ow.
this is the first montage we get of
Where were we?
the paperwork when he first gets in. Danny can go sleep it off in the cell
Cell 4.
That's this scene I think that Dan was talking about, where he's like laying in bed with his like hand thing,
Yeah.
and then like it switches to like the morning. I do actually really love that shot as well.
Mhm.
Nice, very good, well done.
Then he
Very
heads
nice.
to his actual first day at the job, and
Very
everybody in the
good.
village is saying hi to him. "Hi, Sergeant. Hi, Sergeant." Guy runs up. "I'm a slasher of prices."
My deals are criminal.
Bitch.
I hate how the whole time that, like, right from the beginning, it's just like, "I'm the bad guy,"
Yeah, literally.
and then he just pretty much does turn out to be the bad guy. I guess there's many people, but that's the genius part about it. When he gets in, he goes to check on Danny and
Morning,
realizes.
Sergeant. I really love just like how like the because the whole last scene everybody's just saying good morning to him, and then he just walks in and he goes, "Morning, like Sergeant." Yeah, like
"Are you gonna
I don't
do
know.
this?" And the guy says, "Nobody tells me anything." And for some reason, there's just two of them. I don't know.
Nobody tells me nothing.
Yeah. Goes to check on Danny. Danny comes up behind him. "Why are you dressed like a police officer?" "Because I am one." And then his father is the chief of police, so he can't really get too mad at him, I guess. And the chief of police is like showing him around, admires his enthusiasm, but this isn't London. Is the Andes like, that's what they call that in a police station, right? I don't know.
Andes?
Yeah, isn't that like a place where like the detectives hang out? I thought maybe there's something about that, but
Both
the
named
people.
Andrew.
I
I
know.
just thought it was because they were both Andy.
Yeah, I know, but I think that's like the double entendre. I'd have to look it up. But
Oh, Edgar, you sneaky goose.
Sneaky Swan.
Oh,
One of the things he sees in there is like all the evidence things are empty. There's like no guns, like, and all the passcodes are like really simple to get in. There's like this camera room where you can see the whole city. Everybody's just eating cake because like that's like his like Danny's slap on the wrist.
Drunk driving.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Oh no, this
Stupid as shit.
this isn't because he was drunk driving. This is because he lost his helmet. But we won't be running out of Chunky Monkey ice cream for a couple
Like ice
months."
cream. We
You like
won't
ice
be
cream?
short on Chunky Monkey for the next little while.
So they're like, "Oh well, it's 11:30. May as well break for lunch." They all go to the pub, and they're just kind of sitting there. talking, asking, "Oh, have you ever shot anyone?" Because they think he's like a big time cop, and they're like, "There's more guns out here in the country than there is in the city. Everybody and their mom has one out here." Oh yeah, like who? The farmers and their moms. And then even that comes back later.
Yeah.
He's never seen Die Hard or Bloodsport. All these old action movies that Danny's talking to him about. And then he gets invited to the town meeting, the city council.
Yeah.
I guess like maybe they would have recruited him if he wasn't who he was.
Yeah.
But I like the running gag of the blight has returned, and it's the living statue.
Oh yeah.
And then later, when you see him dead, he's still like got his hands up. He's like,
Yeah. I love how just like perfectly preserved he is too.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone else is like a rotting corpse, and he's just
Well, they probably killed him like the day before or something.
Yeah, true.
yeah.
They're going around the city, meeting all the people. The guy from the press.
Him Messenger, pretty suiting name for the reporter.
Yeah, Tim Messenger.
Like he goes to the school and the dude's like, "Oh, you want to like maybe put the teachers in handcuffs? Oh, you want to like give this guy your billy club or your hat?" And he's just like, "No, no, no."
No,
And then
no.
they still, even though he does everything right, they still just like misprint his name. And
Angle.
Angle.
Can be your angle or your devil.
So everybody starts fucking with him, calling him Angle, and I like here he gets a call just because he thinks everybody's kind of out to get him, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you have to come get the Swan." And he's like, "Oh yeah, come get the Swan. Who is this, Mr.
Swan's
Staker?
escaped.
Mr. P.I. Staker. Oh, Mr. Piss Taker, come on."
Staker.
You're Ian Staker.
And then it's a real guy.
And he's just like explaining what the Swan looks like. He's like, "Well, it's this fucking Swan, man." Yeah, they go to the supermarket.
It always reminds me of Joe Pera.
Joe Pera? What's he from?
He's an Adult Swim guy. He's just this really tall, lanky, like quiet guy. But he's just a tall, lanky dude. If you guys don't know who he is, I don't want to explain who he is. It's not that important.
That does remind me though, the cameo I was gonna say, the person, remember how my hand is stiff. The person who like in that one scene stabs him in the hand is Peter Jackson, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Like the director Peter Jackson?
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh.
For like 2 seconds, and he's dressed like a
Santa.
hobo.
Santa Claus.
Oh yeah, Santa Claus. Not a hobo. Same thing. Yeah, so at the supermarket, they're looking at action movies, and Mr. Skinner calls him back there, and he's always just got like that girl just like sitting on the desk. He's always like using the weird metaphors of just like, "Oh yes, may their heads be struck from their shoulders," and just very just blatant evil villain. Angel catches the person stealing on the cameras and just goes to like chase him down. He's taking all these like shortcuts, like just jumping over shit, doing flips, and like still not catching up to this guy until eventually they pass these kids doing graffiti, and he just grabs one of the cans and just nails them from like 200 yards away. And then once again, filling out all the paperwork, but gets cut off because Skinner doesn't even want to press charges against him. And later on, we see he's one of the dead guys in their basement. So, yeah, he ends up getting it anyways. They're waiting on the side of the road, just clocking people's speeds. And Danny's saying like, "Oh man, I miss out on all the parts of being a cool, like, or being a police officer, like the high speed chases and all this stuff." Somebody speeds past them. This is what you were talking about earlier, Marcel. There's big montage of them just pulling them over. See that this is two people playing Romeo and Juliet in a play. and he's just writing down absolutely everything that they say until he just like makes the guy nervous and wears him down, and basically makes him just apologize. And then Danny's like get in the car. He's like, "See what happened there? Yeah, you hypnotized him." It's like, no, this, which also comes back later. Back at the police station, they like get 2 tickets from that guy, just basically to say sorry. He rips them up. He's like, "No, we're not. We can't accept gifts." And then the guy comes out, "Hey, you want to represent the police department at this play?"
I got Danny a ticket as well. Is there
Hey!
ginge about it?
The play itself is just so ginge too. Like,
Bang!
Bang!
love me. I like to Noah pointed out when we were watching it. It's like the first time he dies, he's like, lies down, and then just kind of like readjusts to get more
Yeah, it
comfortable.
gets comfortable.
When they go to kiss, he like leans back up for another.
Yeah, they're just like making out with each other on stage.
Yeah. The news guy comes up to Angel again and is asking him about the play. He's like, "Yeah, it was enjoyable." It's like, "Cop enjoys watching young lovers." I don't think so. Local cop gives thumbs up to teen suicide. Yeah, they're talking about Romeo and Juliet and how that's basically the guy's mistress, because they just sat through 3 hours of this play, and that kiss was the only convincing part. Yeah, as they're leaving, they see like a cloaked figure they pass in the alley, and that immediately goes and kills them. In the morning, he receives the call. They'd been decaffeinated. And then you see it, and then the jump cut to just their heads on the ground.
Yeah.
That's why I like with Edgar Wright, it's like half the times like his transitions between scenes is like a punchline.
Mhm.
You know? Yeah, so they got, I guess the stories, they like went under a sign and then like chopped a car in half and they got decapitated. Well, I mean, they had a convertible, but so everyone is saying, "Oh, it's just an accident, just an accident." It's like, we're not supposed to call them that anymore. They're collisions, because accident implies there's no one to blame. At this part, Skinner rolls by in his
Evil ass Jaguar.
and the song that's playing in the background is something about Romeo and Juliet. That's the name of the song. And the next time when he rolls by the house that just exploded, there's a song that's playing about fire.
Fire something, yeah.
Yeah. So they get called out to, or well, first is where it starts. This is where he starts to pick up that it's probably somebody killing people because they didn't hit the brakes. So, but nobody believes them because
There ain't no
time.
There's no skid marks at the scene.
Yeah, not even in my pants. They go to this farm because somebody's been cutting somebody else's hedges, and they bring that one guy and this dog along. Why do we need the dog? It's not the dog we need. They have the 3-way like translation so that he can understand what's going on.
Yes, boys.
He has like, he's just like holding this rifle, and they're like, "I suppose you have a license for that." He's like, "Yeah, this one. Yeah, this one." So then they
one. That's for this one.
they go in and check where he's stored all these weapons, and it's just like fucking everything. Where did you get all this stuff? Found it.
Found it.
They look
The
in the
fucking
corner.
C mine of all things, too.
Nah, this is a load of junk. Yeah, they just think it's gonna explode and I'll fucking dive, but nothing happens.
Yeah.
They load up the previously empty evidence locker, and oh hey, well we had a good day's work. We should go to the pub to celebrate. Danny convinces him to finally get a beer. Asks for a wine first, but it's like, oh, we have a red or a white. So
He gets a lager.
a lucky
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 logger.
lager.
This is where we get his backstory about why he
Can you
became a
believe
cop in
that
the
British
first
people
place.
haven't tried Lucky Lager?
I don't know, where is it?
I go
Where is it?
every day.
A shame.
I pray for them all
It's
the
gotta be
time to get
Canadian
lucky
only,
lager.
Banger of a beer.
Probably.
His backstory about becoming a cop, I think I get, but it's like his uncle was a cop and then was caught selling drugs to kids, and he's like, I need to prove myself that the law could be upheld and righteous and all this stuff.
Yeah, because he bought him a tricycle with proceeds of the drug money, or at least that's what he assumes. It's like, I never touched that bike again, but I learned that day what was right and what was wrong. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, and then Danny, on the other hand, just pretty much became a cop because his dad was a cop.
Yeah.
My dad did it, so I do it too. We learn that his mother died in a traffic
Here's
collision.
my va.
Mava. And then he's like, yeah, no, my mom did die. Anyways, check this out. And goes to stab himself in the eye. It's like, no, it's ketchup. I'm like, that still seems kind of dangerous, even if there's ketchup there. But you do you.
So you have to go to the hospital with like
Ketchup in the eye. Ketchup in
a
the eye.
ketchup packet and a fork like stuck in your eye.
It was a joke.
It's just
it's
a
literally-
prank.
You can see where I'm coming from, right? Like you can understand this, right?
You can see where I'm coming from, but I can't. Bad jokes only.
But I can't. I have this fork in my eye.
They get super drunk. And
Cannot see. I'm legally blind.
Skinner is talking to the guy who later dies this night. And we see, oh yeah, they have to take him home. And he
Yeah.
just like falls in his front door.
Beautiful, but before that, the beautiful callback to just dude turning around mid-whiz, pissing on him again, second time in the movie.
Oh, true.
I don't know about you guys, but I've never just turned around to have a conversation mid-piss with someone before.
I'm normally hyper focused.
That's dominance right there. That's marking your territory, though. Those are my shoes now.
Take them off. Yeah, there's a dude in the cloak standing outside of this man's house. He sneaks in, turns on the oven, and puts some beans and bacon on. And this guy's entire fucking house just is blown to smithereens, and I don't understand how.
This is the most unbelievable like death of them all.
Yeah.
I don't know why, just covered in beans and bacon. It's like, oh, I told him he
trying to have
shouldn't
an
have,
English breakfast.
yeah, shouldn't have left the oven on. Like, what a guy, what a corker. People are just so chill about it.
Yeah. Like, debatably, with the sea mine, that's what would happen to that building
Yeah.
later on. But this one, it's like, did you guys put like a powder keg in there? Or like,
Yeah. True.
My favorite is the scene like after that when they're kind of doing the investigation and the guy's like, he worked at refrigerators but died by the oven.
yeah.
Damn.
Super ironic.
Yeah. When
And then,
Go
sorry,
for
I
it.
was just gonna say that the lady's like, I always love, or the guy points out to the lady, he's like, oh, you love a good gobble in the morning, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, oh, I do. And then the old man's just standing there, just cocks.
yeah. Yeah.
Watched that part like 3 times because I just
Cocks.
couldn't believe what he said.
There's this whole joke about just like, oh no, we have to be like more feminist, and then every time the girl just like throws it out the window, like when she brings in the cake, she's just wearing like boobs on top of her.
It's, yeah.
Yeah. yeah, Danny invites Angel in for a coffee, a tea, a beer. Huh? And then he goes in. They are talking about like Janine and why they broke up, and basically he can't turn his brain off. He's like, "Oh, I know how to turn your brain off." Bad Boys 2 or Point Break.
Both two baller action movies.
Why
What do you
would you?
think I'd prefer? Which one do you want to watch first?
Yeah.
Why would you start with Bad Boys 2? Is my question. I mean, I don't think I've seen either.
Vastly superior film, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of like, well, I was gonna say it's like Shrek, but no, Shrek 1 and 2 are both pretty good.
Yeah.
They're both
Shrek.
masterpieces.
I was just thinking of like the sequel to a movie, and I'm
When
like,
I
you know
think
what, Shrek
Bad
2
Boys
is a
2, I'm like,
masterpiece.
yeah, it's like Shrek.
Thematically, no, but like they're both good.
Cameras only catch the edge of the explosion, but what they do catch is Public Enemy number 1, the Swan.
The Swan.
Then they go to some sort of town festival. Danny brings him over to this shooting game. He just nails each one, hands the gun over to Danny for like a second. He shoots the guy who's running the game. But
He's a doctor. He'll take care of it.
yeah. He wins him
Wins a big fuck off monkey too
yeah.
from it.
And then the journalist comes up and he's like, "Oh, meet me at 3 p.m. in the churchyard." But Angel gets called away to name the winners of, I don't know, something at this festival. The tension starts rising, and eventually he has to just burst out and go see the news guy. And right as he gets over there, the pillar from the top of the church falls down and just impales this guy's head off of his
Yeah.
body.
So good.
This is honestly one of like the best.
I like when he
kills in a
like just
movie in,
turns the
like, a
corner. He's
while.
just
We do have technically a running list of Kill Hall of Fame.
Yeah, this is a good one. This
It's
is honestly one of my favorite like deaths in any
That's it.
movie. It's like the whole thing just falls on me and just explodes.
Chief, this is it.
Yeah.
Our Kill Hall of Fame currently now.
I love
is-
how like as soon as he turns the corner, he's just like,
Yeah.
"Hi," like he's just so
Hi.
like he's just like so casual, and then just boom, like, he's just hi.
turns into a cosplay of Pyramid Head.
Poor
Our
guy.
Kill Hall of Fame. I couldn't tell you what the first couple are. What is Homie Splodin number 1?
The cop from
The cop from
Brightburn that just got
Brightburn,
flown right through.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Homie, that's blown.
and then the next one is Our Souls to the Dark Lord.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
not
you're
really good at like naming these.
Midsummer, probably.
No.
I was, yeah.
Douche Nuts from Garfield.
Oh, I think it's his nuts like
Yeah.
bit by the
Oh,
dog.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The Hawk
Not really
from
kill, just good.
Rest in peace, nuts.
the Hawk from Rango,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then Barb from Black Christmas, right?
She's the one
Yeah.
with got
The only
bag
like
over her head.
actually good one on the list.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Claire. Claire was the bag over her head.
Claire was bigger than which one was the
Yeah.
other one?
Yeah, Barb was the one where they like set the scene all beautifully and then had the
Yeah.
One where she was in
Yeah.
bed, wasn't she?
yeah the like
Barb's my
the
wife.
statue thing. Yeah.
I added News Guy Hot Fuzz Pyramid Head to
There we go.
the
Yeah,
list.
That's a little more. Yeah.
So
We're
moving
making callbacks to past episodes, just like this movie does.
every line
Nothing
of
goes wasted.
dialogue, yeah, that we've said has not been wasted. Danny suggests, or wait, I think I'm going forward. He like gets all the cops together, and they're like, "You're sure this isn't an accident?" And yeah, they keep going with that. Even after like that one lady gets stabbed with the shears, it's like, "You're telling me this wasn't an accident?"
I mean, like honestly, even if this one like wasn't an accident, That has to be some pretty good aim to hit right on top of their head from
Right.
distance.
Yeah. I know. He's just like bends over to tie his shoe or something. And then, like,
Yeah, misses him. Whoa, that could have hit me.
hey, who's that guy? They like lock everything down into a crime scene, and this is the first time we see the chief actually be like, "You do this, you do that, you do that. You two, you know what to do," and they're just standing out front in the rain. Danny suggests, maybe we should just go home, and Angel gets like pissed and snaps at him because he's like, "There's shit going on here, and you don't see it." And they get into a bit of like a fight, and I hate just like watching Danny run away. He's just like, oh, you can't see me run away. Fuck.
No. There you go. Yeah.
Like
off cam.
like Patrick running with his pants around his ankles.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he gets home, there's a monkey left on his bed that Danny left for him.
Car.
He looks at the newspaper on his desk that says Angle on it and starts having a revelation. Goes to the library. He's like photocopying all these newspapers, circling a bunch of stuff. And then immediately he goes to see Danny and pretty much makes up with him.
And makes it with him.
Yeah, they fuck.
Can't forget that.
The monkey too.
It's in the deleted
Can't forget
scenes.
about the monkey.
You guys watched the unrated version, yeah?
Yeah.
They have like that sweet moment where he's like, "Thank you for the monkey." He's like, "Yeah, well, it's yours. I won it for you."
It's like, oh.
Then they make up and they go, and he's like explaining this whole plot of what he thinks is going on. He's like, "Hey, this guy died. He's related in this way. This guy," and basically the plot is like, these people want like a spot of land, and all the people that are connected to it are dying. They work on it all day, and at the end, Danny's just like, "I don't know," or it could just be an accident. He's like, "Oh, fucking damn it." They burst in. It turns out it's Danny's birthday. He's like, "You didn't fucking tell me it was your birthday. Damn, I gotta go buy you a peace lily." He heads out to the florist, goes in there, and he gets like the last kind of piece of the puzzle from her. She's saying, "Oh yeah, I inherited this land because blah blah blah, and it's gonna be worth like a lot more than I thought it was. So I'm actually gonna move out of town." So he goes to his vehicle to get his notepad real quick, and then he looks back, and she's like stabbed in the throat with her own shears. Takes his baton, chucks it at the window to break it, and starts pursuing this man. But that guy's super fast, so he ends up getting away through just like this hole of like, I don't know, barbed wire or something. It's like, I don't understand how he got through there, but I don't know, just dove.
Yeah.
Is it like I thought it was like the hedge.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
like,
it is.
but it's like a very like, I don't know, it looks pokey.
Pokey hedge.
Pokey hedge, to be precise.
I think that is like the family genus of it,
Right.
pokey hedge.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Related to the over
Yes.
hedge. Then this is where that line is saying, "You're telling me this wasn't an accident." Like she's
Leslie
kind
Keller was fucking murdered.
A lot of money into the swear jar in that scene.
Mhm.
there hasn't been a murder in that town in 20 years. Like the chief pulls him aside. The people who around here don't like to hear the M word, you know. But he is pretty convinced that he knows who did it at this
Kind of being
point.
a fucking bummer right now.
You know, somebody just died. he's like, "No, I've put the whole puzzle together. We're gonna go see Skinner right now." They storm the supermarket, and he splays out his whole plan about, you did this because of this, and you, is trying to accuse him. But none of this ends up being pertinent, so I won't go into it. He needs harder evidence to like say it was this guy anyways, and they like review all of his cams. He's basically been at the supermarket for the time of a lot of the murders. And also he reveals his leg at this point, hoping that there'll be a cut glass from earlier when he was chasing that guy, and there isn't, so it kind of absolves him. So he just kind of drops everything. He goes out with Danny, and he's kind of just like lethargic because he's like, well, I was wrong. I don't know what to do anymore. Danny asks him again, hey, you want to go to the shop? He's like, yeah, okay. They go to the convenience store, and they're eating the Cornetto ice cream, which this is the blue one for cops.
It's the thing.
They did the thing. Roll credits. The girl at the
thing.
convenience shop says, no luck catching the killers then. He's like, actually, it's just one. And then, and click, light bulb.
I don't know what it is, but like the way that she like ends up echoing after like, oh, no luck catching them killers then. No luck catching them killers then. That whole like just the way it echoes, like I think it's because I was always half asleep at this point, and it would just like really fuck with me while I was sleeping, and like it would trip me out. So you just say like, no luck catching them killers then.
When he tries to tell this to the chief, he's just like, yeah, okay, so like maybe just go sleep on it, and if you still feel like this in the morning, then we can do something about it. So he goes back to his hotel room, and a person is in there in a cloak and is trying to kill him. They thrash around a whole bunch, and eventually he gets his hood off, revealing that it is Michael, the child of incest, who works at the supermarket. Only thing he says is yarp. There's a radio left on the ground when he like finally knocks him out. Yeah. Did you kill him? Yarp. And he won't be getting up. Narp.
Narp.
Perfect. Danny just
and also call back to the monkey thing. He throws the monkey at him to distract him, and you just hear like the lullaby music plays. Smash with the plant.
Yeah, and
then he drops his fucking cool line there. Playtime's over.
Yeah.
Which they call back to later.
Yeah. No, it's a dialogue. Everything makes sense.
Danny just randomly shows up at the right time at his front door. And he's like, "Okay, you watch Michael. I'm gonna go see your dad." Blow this whole thing wide open. Angel runs all the way to like where they're having the council meeting. Skinner's one of them, the doctor's one of them, the lady who works at the hotel is one of them. Basically, all the names that we see on the plaque earlier. Angel storms in and threatens them, put them all under arrest, but they express that this is all for the greater good.
The greater
good.
They like start going through the reasons that they actually killed people, and it's like, oh, well, we killed Romeo and Juliet because they're just appalling actors. This guy just had a really awful house.
Like, I love how like it's so complex that they're just like, nah, they just sucked.
It's like this house ruined the city's rustic aesthetic. It's like, okay.
Damn.
The news guy kept getting things wrong in the paper. And then the florist had to die because she was too good of a
Listed
florist.
her age is 57 when she's actually 53. 53.
Yeah, we couldn't have anyone else having her green thumb.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are petty motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. If we can't have them, no one can.
Yeah.
The chief shows up and explains that, hey, we've won this award like pretty much every time, and the one time we didn't, my wife got so distraught she like drove her car into the lake and died. So now they have to be
Brutal.
the best every year. So he like gets grabbed by Michael and Danny, and but then he like kind of breaks out and puts a knife around Danny's throat. And he's like, "Oh, you won't kill him." He's like, "Ah, shit, you're right," and starts running. He like jumps into a grave, which I think is actually a line earlier. They're like, "Oh, you're jumping into some sheriff something's grave," and he's like, "No, I won't be doing that." But when he goes in, he breaks through, and there's like an RV underground where he can see like the old sheriff with the big bushy beard, the
Yeah.
statue guy, the guy who was stealing stuff, like a lot of
Every
people.
kid who was drinking in
Underage
town.
drinkers, yeah.
Oh, were they all in there?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yep.
um.
Dogs, like everything.
He like has to keep running, and the people like catch up to him, specifically Danny, who stabs him where he put the notebook earlier and ostensibly put a pack of ketchup. Yeah, so he does that, loads him in the back of a car, brings him to the middle of nowhere, and he's like still oblivious to what's going on somehow. Like Danny still
Yeah.
doesn't know that they're killing people, even though he just stabbed him to get him out. Like,
Daddy just said it was his little clubby.
yeah, he's the country club. He's like, yeah, well, we can't really take my dad down, so you should just go back to London. And he's just gonna go, but on his way out, he stops at like this convenience store, and he sees Bad Boys 2 and Point Break right beside each other. So he buys a bunch of like spray paint and shades and other things, and heads back into town in Danny's car. He shows up at this farm, and the guy tries to call the radio, and he sees.
And this is the best entire sequence of the whole fucking
It
movie.
is pretty good.
It's just bit by bit by bit, awesome action scene that just goes from like 0 to like 20, and like it's so good.
Well, this is the part like right before where he goes back to the cop station to like load up on all this, because he's like, you know, I'm gonna go, or he's like, you can't arrest everyone in town. He's like, you know, I'm not gonna do that. And then he just goes like loads up with weapons and shit. And then the guy at the front desk, like they just let him walk in, even though like they kind of just tried to murder him, like the whole police branch or whatever, just try and kill him. But like he
The
just walks
police
in, you know,
branch.
grabs his. No, they didn't. But like the big cop guy, like I assume he wouldn't want him back in there. But like, yeah, he just goes in, opens up his locker, takes all his stuff, goes in, like grabs all the guns and shit, just like walking out with just fat loads of weapons.
Sounds like
He's
nobody
out.
noticed shit.
Yeah, the guy's like, oh, there's a call for you from London. He's like, I'll it's like tell them to call
Turns
me
around,
back or
holds the
something.
fucking AR with two
Yeah.
shotguns in his back. Like,
It's like I'll call him back. He's like, I didn't know we had a mounted division. He's just like trolleying on his horse with like weapons down his back,
Oh,
down
wait.
like
So
the
good.
road.
Is the sheriff?
Did we talk about the farmer part with like the
Yeah,
mom?
I was
where he,
gonna
like,
get
outlet
to that.
boots in the
Yeah, we're
mom's
getting
face?
to that. Yeah.
That's my thumbs up
way
moment.
before,
That is
yeah.
my thumbs up moment.
Oh, I didn't even think
Yeah,
about that for
yeah,
this.
that part is just beautiful.
Yeah, the dude tries to
I
kill
don't
the
know, something
cops.
about
He drives,
Mm.
hits the car out of the way, so the radio just breaks off, and he calls mom. So it's like the callback to everybody. All the farmers and their mothers have guns.
getting their mothers, farmers in the. Ugh.
Yeah, so I like how he just gets out of the car and just like clocks the guy too, and then she shoots him, kind of like scathes him a bit, just like jumps up,
Jump kicks.
right in the face. Yeah, and then the montage you were talking about.
It's her
I think.
fucking nose. I like how she's just sitting there afterwards, like just bloodied and beat it to shit.
Yeah, nobody, like, even though there's just a bunch of gunfights and everything, nobody dies. And
They just get really bad boo boos.
Mhm.
yeah.
You know, thumbs up, universe.
Well, he even says, like Joe was saying, he's like, what are you gonna do? Arrest the whole village? Not exactly.
Yeah.
Like but then that is what he does. He does just
Yeah.
arrest everybody. So yeah, he gives the spray paint to a bunch of the kids to spray paint over all the cameras.
That was one of my favorite lines too in the scene. He's like walking by the kids. He's like, "You want to be useful?"
Yeah.
All the kids, yeah.
You may wind up dead like all those kids who were drinking, but the whole town like stops and stares at him as he comes back through.
Check out his hearse.
His hearse. There's like a little standoff before everybody starts whipping weapons out of every just nook and cranny. The girl with like has them in just like the
bike basket.
Danny like or at one point that lady's like coming towards him like this, and Danny opens his door and she just like hits it.
The scene or the like at this part when Nicholas is like hiding behind cover behind whatever the middle thing in the middle of the street there, the lady comes out of the window with like this like sniper rifle basically, and like has clear sight of Danny down there. Just can't hit him at all. And he's just sitting there like reloading his weapon, doesn't even care that she's there. But the kids obviously come and like take her in and whatever, beat her to death with spray cans or something. But
there's the callback here to fascist, and then he shoots the thing, falls on her. Hag. The priest walks up and he's like, I know you aren't a man of God, but surely you're a man of peace.
Stop this mindless violence.
And then has like the two just like slip out guns.
Yeah.
Fuck off, grasshopper. Just whips out both pistols.
Yeah.
Cool.
He gets shot in the bulletproof vest, so he's fine. They pull up at the bar, break in there, and the man and woman are in there.
I also love that line where it's just like, "What are you thinking, pub?" Like it's just a callback to just what they've been saying the whole fucking movie. Like this whole like fight scene is just like throwbacks, but also it's just so good.
He like shoots the bear trap off the ceiling.
Doesn't die, or like I don't think he does, because in the montage later when they're like showing everyone, you just see his head like in the bear trap still. I don't know, that's unbelievable. But
like
a lot of bullets are wasted in the bar scene too.
All over. I mean, if nobody dies, all of these bullets are wasted.
But this scene specifically is because they're hiding behind cover. They get up, shoot, wait till the other people go behind cover, get up, shoot. Like nobody hits anything until Nicholas realizes, oh yeah, I can just shoot the bear trap, and does that. And the lady's like, somebody call the police. It's like the police show up for some reason.
Yeah. What I was gonna say about the bear trap is like maybe it's like one of those things where you get like an axe lodged in your head, and they're like, no, you should leave it in until you get to the hospital. It's like he gets it on there.
True.
Just has to leave it. When they do show up, Angel or Nicholas pretty much convinces them that he is telling the truth. But the chief is still there, and he doesn't believe in it, so he shoots the chandelier and then runs away. There's like one cop who is just very incompetent and always has been asking Angel for like, so what should we do? And he normally gives them a plan. But when they're outside of the supermarket, that guy gives the plan. Angel's like, oh, what he said, and that he's actually doing good right now. He runs in by himself.
Best scene.
Immediately gets tackled by Michael, and they're having their own kind of tussle while the rest of the cops are trying to like get the people behind the deli. Eventually, he spins Michael around and lands in the freezer. And then when he goes to meet up with Danny again, he's like, "Oh yeah, no, I just did this thing." He's like, "Oh, did you say anything cool? Like cool
Did you tell him
off?"
to cool off.
No, I didn't say anything actually. Shame. But in our earlier fight, when I distracted him with the cuddly monkey, and then I said playtime's over, and I hit him with a piece of the, oh, you're fucking off the chain.
Apparently, this movie has a lot of references to obviously other action movies, and the cool off reference is to Schwarzenegger's character Harry Tasker from True Lies 1994.
I thought you were gonna say when he played Iceman in Batman.
Mr. Freeze, yeah.
No.
Well,
That would also be fitting, but no, it's not that movie.
They take all the shopping carts and roll them like just like as a big thing towards the deli. The guys are just throwing knives at them. Trying to get so you guys have guns.
He's like calling the
way they
like
describe it
backup
too,
or
like,
something.
what's the situation?
Yeah.
2 men and a fuckload of cutlery.
They literally just have unlimited knives. I want to go back and count how many, but that scene stretches for like a solid 5 minutes of them just throwing cleavers and
So
shit.
many.
And just like them like covering fire to like the glass or whatever that they're
Yeah, it
behind,
does.
just wasting so many bullets on it, like not hitting anything.
The glass cover after.
Yeah, I know.
When they there's one last person that they have to get, and it's like that girl who's always sitting on Skinner's desk. And
Mr. Skinner.
And she runs up
Like
with
a
a
little
fucking
girl on girl,
X-Acto knife.
the girl,
Yeah.
the police officer who is a woman, hits her with the wet floor sign, and she's like, "Ah, nothing like a bit of girl on girl," and everyone laughs.
Hey.
Angel and Danny leave them to go get Skinner. And one of the Andys as he's leaving, don't go being a twat. I wouldn't give you the satisfaction.
Call back to earlier when they wrote twat on the inside of his police hat too.
Yeah. The chase ensues with Danny driving, and they're doing a lot of the things that Danny thought that he was missing out on, and shooting out the window as they're driving and stuff. As they head out of like a kind of main part of the city, anyways, they pass the judging committee for like the village contest on the way. The bad guys in their car, like Skinner and the chief, like almost hit the Swan and drive off.
Yeah. Swan.
And then when they drive past it, it's Swan, and then there's like a cut, and then the Swan's in the back of the car. They get out of the car. They're like Angel tracks down Skinner, and they're in like a mini version. They're in a literal model village.
Is this
because-
like a common thing in like UK areas? Because why don't we have more of those? That's fucking cool. Like a small,
mini
like we could get
versions
like a
of
little
towns?
miniature version of like Wetaskiwin, you know? Yeah, like just like more like
Because it
That'd
get
be
vandalized to
towns.
shit.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The moment it's put up, it's gonna get trashed. That's why
And here we
can't
have
have
the
nice
miniature
things.
regulators that you can see.
Oh fuck! Somebody stole Walmart. All the liquor stores.
Ooh.
Can't have anything nice. Yeah, I want to see many pawn shops where I'm Wetaskiwin and what I'm viewing.
There's just this random ginger kid there, and he like grabs him and threatens to kill him, but he like bites his hand down. He bites his hand and lets him go, and then Angel runs and tackles him to the ground. There's like a cool part here where Skinner's like feeding him shots, and then Angel catches his hand. He's like,
Yeah.
"Get out of my village!" And this isn't your village anymore. It's a very just action movie. Then when he drops him, he goes to talk to the kid. He's like, "You doing all right? Like, what's your name?" Aaron A.
Aronson.
Aaron's.
Yeah,
Aaron Aronson.
Aaron.
is a callback to when he's talking to the investigators earlier. And it's just like, what, you want us to call up everybody in the fucking phone book? Aaron A. Aronson? So I guess that's why he's there. I don't know.
Yeah.
No dialogue gets wasted.
No, literally.
Skinner runs to go and get him and slips on a truck. I think it's a truck for the supermarket he said not to go to earlier. And then it goes right through his fucking mouth. It's like hard to look at. He says, "I'm gonna need ice cream," and then once again a callback. He's like, oh, there's lots of ice cream at the station because the Chunky Monkey stuff from earlier.
They'll never run out.
Yeah. So one last time, Frank, the chief, tries to hold Danny at gunpoint, but then when he like turns it over to Nick, Danny like disarms him, but he runs away, tries to steal the cop car and just go off. And
then Danny
Wide
does the
open
iconic
field.
Point Break.
Fire your gun in the air and gone, ah.
Which is a reference to Keanu Reeves in Point Break, 1991.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I have not seen Point Break, but I feel I need to.
My parents were actually watching that movie like the other week, and I just like when I saw that scene, I was like, "Whoa!" Like this actually was referenced. Amazing. Yeah.
I just love it, like how when the Chief's driving off in the car, it's like a wide open field with like one tree you see. It like swerves straight into that tree.
He gets bit by the swan.
Yeah.
Public enemy number one.
You know what?
Swan.
The swan gets my thumbs up.
Yeah.
I love the swan. Angel feels like he should say something cool. He doesn't have to say anything at all. The police force from London shows up. Things have been a bit squiffy since you've been gone. Only thing is, he kind of likes it here, which like they forced him to move the first time, so I don't understand why they couldn't do it again. He's like, yeah, there's a considerable amount of paperwork that needs to be doing. Hard montage of every single person who didn't die in that scene, and they're all doing paperwork. Somebody says something about, oh, it's a good thing we have the manpower. Not manpower, that's sexist. Angel like smacks the girl on the shoulder and you don't mind a little bit of manpower, do you, Doris? You dirty bastard. Somebody just randomly after
He just
that
gets hit in the head with a fucking bucket. like push.
and he's like, you cheeky fucker. The guy comes out of the
That was
fucking...
like a metal pin too. That would fucking hurt.
Yeah.
Like that would knock him the fuck out.
The guy comes out of the camera room and he ends up using the bucket on the ground, kicks it at the guy's face, hits him back into
like
the sea mine.
It just has like of all guns and stuff that he has, it's like a fucking blunderbuss that he comes up with.
Yeah.
Most untimely gun, like
Right.
for the period.
They have like an evidence room full of just like shotguns, fucking assault rifles, all this stuff. Nah, the blunderbuss is cool as fuck.
To be fair, like when Danny got shot by that, I mean, that would have just fucked him up.
Yeah, why did he not die?
Fucked him up. That fucked him up.
Must have been wearing,
friendship.
power of friendship. Chunky Monkey.
Yeah. Power of Chunky Monkey.
Like, they don't have a doctor anymore. He's in jail.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, so they try and play it off like Danny is dead. It skips to a year later. Nick is bringing flowers to a grave, and it says Butterman on it. Turns out it's his mom's grave. They get in the car, receive a radio call about something about blah blah at the farmer's market. He's like, all right, punch it. They do pull 180, and that's our film. It's a freaking gooder. Okay, now it's time for the ceremony of thumbs, which
To do this, but
we must
this one's a
decide
little
whether we recommend this movie to our 50 subscribers, or we say, nah, you can probably give this one a skip.
eat shit subscribers.
3, 2, 1. Oh, so surprised.
It's such a good movie.
What's up?
I feel like Marcel's been 3 seconds behind this entire time. Does anybody else feel that?
Yeah.
It's been
just
not really.
horrid.
Game leg, yeah.
I thought it was, so that's why I just started getting quiet. I'm like, I didn't stop going on.
Yeah, so it's a good movie. I think we all think that it's kind of it's a classic.
It's a good action movie. and a
Fun for
good
the whole
comedy.
family.
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
checks off 2 boxes. If you're, if you're the old dad that doesn't like to, or sorry, that doesn't like, slow movies, and then you fall asleep in your seat. And then, but this one's for you because you'll be getting a laugh while you'll be getting that action shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, this paperwork sure is interesting.
Good thing they skipped through it in a really flashy montage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you guys place this above or below Shaun of the Dead? I feel like most people put World's End at the
At
end.
the bottom of the trilogy.
Yeah. I think Hot Fuzz is at the top.
I put Hot Fuzz at the top, but I do also
Fuzz
really
is
like
at
Shaun of the
top.
Dead, so.
Yeah.
Now that I just watched this movie twice back to back, I feel like I'm almost burnt out on Hot Fuzz. So I'm like, would I enjoy Shaun of the Dead more? But I don't know. So, anyways, now it is time to spin our wheel to decide what movie we'll be watching for next week. To go over what we have on this wheel, we have Noah's movie Falling Down, my movie The House. I drew a little picture of a little kitty cat. I'll just show the whole class.
That's not a house.
No, it's
It is a
not.
kitty cat, though.
Though what the fuck would you know? The Wolf
No,
of Wall
that's-
Street. I didn't draw a wolf.
Nobody
No.
tells me nothing.
Over the hedge. Meet.
I kind of want to land over the hedge. I just want to watch that.
I feel like that's a pretty light movie in comparison to the rest of the movies on this wheel.
Very.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up. Did I just say all of them? No, I didn't. Meet the Feebles, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is Dane's movie. I'm going to give this thing a good old spin. The Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh hell yeah!
Ooh. I feel like that's a
The
long
good-
I've never
movie.
seen it, so.
That
It is a long movie.
That is gonna be a
2 hours.
long ass review.
Okay,
Damn.
I'll have to set aside our time.
I was gonna say we have to do it like acts,
Next week.
like sections.
Part 5.
Such a long ass movie.
Yeah.
We need to analyze the market at the specific time in order. No.
Why is he buying that stock? Yeah, it's like- well, if you liked this, don't forget to leave us a like, subscribe, comment what movies you'd like to see us review in the future, and share us with your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a fun one, fellers. We have been No Thumbs Up, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Later.
See ya.
Peace out.